It's been a year since the Royal Commission into Child Sexual Abuse was established, and more than 1,000 people have come forward to tell their stories. Beth?
Now, the Commission is planning to hold another 800 hearings, which is just a huge undertaking this year, and extend its reach to include prisoners, people with disabilities and Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders. And the Commission's Chief Executive, Janette Dines, joins us. Thank you very much for joining us. It is a good time to really reflect perhaps on your first year and really what you were able to glean, because it has been such a vast undertaking.
That's right. It was a really busy year. We've made a really strong start at the Royal Commission, but the Royal Commissioners know that we still face a huge task.
Now, you've released some statistics over the weekend about what we saw, and they were in private sessions as well as some public sessions. Any of the statistics surprise you at all?
What we've found is that we've done over 1,000 private sessions with people. People have come and spoken to a Royal Commissioner in private and told their story. The vast majority of those people who've come forward so far are males between the age of 50 and 70.
Some two-thirds have been male. Now, does that one specifically surprise you?
That's probably consistent with the statistics of what we understand the pattern of abuse against children in institutions has been historically.
Yep.
And suggestive that it is something that was really quite common in that era.
That's right. What the Royal Commissioners have really found from the last year of work is that the nature and the extent of abuse that has occurred over decades, in fact, around institutions that have responsibility for caring for children is probably greater than people in Australia have realised, and also the extent of that abuse and the fact that sexual abuse against children is often accompanied by severe physical abuse and psychological trauma, and that's been something that the Chair of the Royal Commission, Justice Peter McClellan, has said has shocked him and he thinks will shock the nation when they begin to learn, as they will continue this year, to hear of those stories of abuse.
And that was a significant comment to make, wasn't it? I guess that brought home for everyone that this was going, that he and the whole team who's right behind the Royal Commission is in it for the long haul and ready to look where they have to look.
That's right. I think two of the important things about the Royal Commission, firstly, we were asked to bear witness on behalf of the country to the abuse that occurred, and certainly the statement by Justice McClellan about how he personally was shocked and he felt that the country would be shocked was very significant. It's important for Australia to understand what happened. And hearing people's stories and the courage and the strength of victims who are coming forward to tell their stories is absolutely amazing. And what it does as well is it helps us to begin to understand, and the commissioners to make recommendations on how can we prevent abuse occurring in the future, how can we make institutions child safe.
Importantly, 96 cases you have already referred for investigation. Talk us through the process as to how this happens and what that means to have those cases referred.
We've referred 96 matters to authorities, including the police. And what the Royal Commission does when we receive information, we are empowered under the Royal Commissions Act to refer that for further investigation. So that then becomes a matter for the police as to whether there was criminal activity and charges to be pursued.
Now, what about this? The focus this year, one of the focuses is to look into remote communities, prisoners, disabled victims or survivors. How is that going to be achieved?
We're very conscious that there are lots of groups around the country that are particularly vulnerable or will find it difficult to come forward and tell their stories, and we've done a lot of work in the past 12 months building trust and building links and getting information out to some of those groups. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people are a significant focus for us. We know we've got a lot of work to do to help those people to understand their options, and this year we're focusing on speaking to people who are in custody and also working particularly with parents and organisations that support adults with disabilities or people who were physically or mentally subject to a disability and were abused as children in institutions.
The prisoners one is an interesting one. I'm not sure that that's been done before, has it? Because many people find themselves traumatised and then struggling through life, and eventually they might lead to crime and end up in jail and may never be heard from again.
That's right. What we've learnt in the past year is that the devastating impact that being abused as a child can have on people can include things like mental health problems, substance abuse, people becoming involved in criminal activities. And speaking to those people is a really important part of bearing witness, to understand their story, and certainly it would not have been done on this scale in a Royal Commission before.
You've talked about making it clear that people still have time to come forward and talk. It logistically must be quite a challenge as well. Just setting up the venues, giving people that opportunity. That's
right. Look, we're a national Royal Commission. We operate around the country. We started in Sydney, but we've travelled extensively. We've been back to many states already 2 or 3 times to hear from people. We get calls from all around the country. The things that are important to us are that everybody who wants to speak to us has the chance to, and that people realise that we are operating nationally. So it's challenging, but it's what we have to do, and that's what we're planning for.
So what is the plan for the rest of the year as far as going to regional centres, say for instance Ballarat in Victoria? I'm not sure you've mapped out exactly where you're going yet, but can you give us some idea of what you know now?
Yeah, we've released details of at least the first 6 months. We plan to do public hearings in Queensland, in Western Australia, in South Australia and in the ACT. We're also out doing private sessions in regional locations such as Ballarat and Bendigo. We'll be over in Geraldton again and in the Kimberley region. So there's a really full program of private sessions with Royal Commissioners, public hearings around the country in every state and territory over the next 2 years, and continuing to work really closely with local community groups and support and advocacy groups, because they've been a very important part of our success in the last 12 months.
Well, we wish you continue well. It's been so cathartic for so many people, so it is such an important job. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks very much.
Thanks very much.